I'm Tara Merchiner. Tonight on EWTN News Nightly, countdown to canonization. We're in St. Peter's Square as the church prepares to make two new saints, what you can expect to see this weekend. And name change, why President Trump wants to change the Department of Defense to the Department of War. Midterm conventions, it could be a reality for both parties. We are at the Capitol. Plus, welcome to the family. We'll introduce you to News Nightly's new anchor, when she starts and what she plans to bring to our show. These stories and more tonight.
From EWTN, the Global Catholic Network, this is EWTN News Nightly.
And thank you so much for being with us on the feast day of St. Teresa of Calcutta, our top story tonight. In just 2 days, Blesseds Carlo Acutis and Pier Giorgio Frassati will be canonized as saints. Blessed Carlo, who died in 2006 at the age of 15 years old, will be the first ever millennial saint of the Church. Meanwhile, Blessed Pier Giorgio, who also died young at the age of 24, has also had a major influence on young Catholics across the globe. EWTN News' Monse Alvarado joins us now from St. Peter's Square. Monse, it is great to see you. Carlo Acutis was originally set to be canonized in April and Pier Giorgio in August, but with the death of Pope Francis, of course, and the election of Pope Leo, both canonizations were postponed to this weekend. Do you think that's affected the crowds coming to Rome for the canonization?
Well, good evening, Tara. It's so great to be with you here from St. Peter's Square, where the crowds are just starting to trickle in. And you're right, it could be possible that that shift affected the crowds coming in, but we won't be sure until we see what happens on Sunday morning. This square is supposed to host about 250,000 people, and it is expected that you'll get that number of pilgrims coming in. Just as we were coming in, our team also saw a lot of pilgrims from the United States, from around the world, who are going to Assisi first and then making their way here into Rome for this long-awaited moment for both Pier Giorgio Frassati and for Carlo Acutis.
Yeah, amazing. I actually saw Carlo in May when I went to Assisi. It's really something. Now, Carlo and Pier Giorgio died very young, we know, is just 15 and 24. So what do their short but very holy lives say to us today, and how can they inspire or guide the church in our time?
I think you know that the youth has always inspired the church. You think about the reality of St. Catherine of Siena, who died at 33, St. Joan of Arc, who died at 19. These were young people who have always invigorated the faith, young people who were not in any way stopped by jadedness. Their youth is what gave such a wonderful gift of invigoration to the church. And their faith, their childlike faith, which we know biblically, and our Jesus himself inspired us to believe in this way to enter the kingdom of heaven. We know that that's the gift that they have to give, their enthusiasm, their unfettered access to the glory and the grace that comes with giving ourselves completely to our Lord through either Eucharistic devotion or individual encounter, depending on which one of these fabulous saints you're talking about.
Absolutely. And on Sunday, close relatives of both will be present, Carlo's parents and siblings and Pier Giorgio's niece Wanda. So how significant is it for the church and for the faithful to have such a living personal connection to these new saints?
I think it humanizes the reality of sainthood. We should all be waking up every morning thinking, how can I be a saint today? How am I called into this sainthood? And so the fact that we can see young people who fought with their families or had their own conflicts. We know that Carlo had this rift with his mother and father as he had this deep devotion, but they were not yet walking with him. And Pier Giorgio, who also had a conflict with his parents, being a young man who was supposed to receive a specific position in society, but then rejected it to have these encounters and bring people to Christ. So that tension teaches us that we are supposed to be a part of our families, but at the same time are also called to leave for that better choice, for that grace that God has and is waiting to give us. So it humanizes them and gives us an example of who we are supposed to be, right? In the world, but not of the world.
Monse Alvarado, thank you so much. Great to have you on the ground. We look forward to hearing so much more. All right, and as Monse mentioned, Carlo Acutis' mother will be in Rome for his canonization. Well, Carlo died in 2006. His mother says she knew he was destined to become a saint.
I
had a dream of Carlo, who told me I would become a mother. I had already lost hope. After Carlo's death, I had tried everything. I had even submitted an application to adopt other children. Then Carlo appeared to me and said, "You will be a mother again." and in fact, a month later, I was pregnant. Shortly after he died, he appeared to me and told me he would become a blessed and then a saint. And indeed, everything he said turned out to be true. Certainly, dreams can also be instruments God uses to send us messages. In my case, it was a beautiful gift that Carlo gave me. In fact, my children are twins, and they were supposed to be born on the day of Carlo's death. They were born a bit early, as twins often are, but still, it was a wonderful gift that Carlo gave me.
And in an exclusive interview with EWTN News, Pier Giorgio Frassati's niece Wanda Goranska spoke about her uncle's great generosity and love for the poor and those most in need. She explained that he remains an example not only for her family and for the young, but for everyone.
The memory of him is very much alive, not only in our family, but all over the world. Truly, I wouldn't say it is surprising because he was so special. Even after 100 years, all over the world, young people still take him as an example, as a companion in life, someone you can walk through life with, thanks to his strength and to his faith. He was an example of how to find work for someone in need, how to go and sit for hours with a family that had lost someone, how to truly be a friend of the poor. That is more than just giving money. But it's very striking, because someone asked him once, how do you manage to go into those poor homes? They were really very dirty places. How can you stand going into those filthy apartments? His answer was, Christ comes to me every day in Holy Communion. I try to repay him in some way by visiting his poor.
All right, and joining us now is Christine Wohar, Executive Director of Frassati USA. Christine is in Rome for the canonization. Thank you so much for joining us, Christine. We are just 2 days away from Blessed Pier Giorgio Frassati becoming a saint. How does it feel knowing the long wait is almost over?
It still feels like a very long wait, to be honest with you. But when I saw that banner go up on the facade of St. Peter's, then I knew this is really going to happen. It's awesome.
Yeah, of course. Very exciting, no doubt about it. Explain to us some of the way Frassati USA has helped bring the canonization about. I know you guys have worked so hard.
Frassati USA, really the goal has always been to spread the spirituality of Blessed Pier Giorgio. And because we're not any way officially involved in the canonization, that was really the mission, just to get that message out there. Of course, with people praying and getting to know Pier Giorgio, we knew that that would lead potentially to occurrence of that second miracle. And so that's really been the objective. And when that, a lot of miracles have been reported over the years, and the church in her wisdom decides which one will be the one. And so we're actually very thrilled to have a miracle from the United States. And of course, a Pope born in the United States makes it extra special for Frassati USA.
Yeah, no doubt about it. After learning he was going to be canonized, what was the reaction from the Catholics that you know?
I think there's just like a worldwide cheer, because the devotion of Pier Giorgio it's been like he's like a unofficially canonized saint, all around the world, because we have waited for so long. And so I just think a lot of people they were so ready for this to happen. There was just an elation, a relief, just an excitement, and it's just been building and building. And then, as you know, with the delay, it just kind of made us wait just a little bit more longer and just building it up to this excitement today. But people were ready for this. I mean, very, very excited. We need Pier Giorgio today, and we're ready to have him, Saint Pier Giorgio.
As we said earlier, you are currently in Rome, and what will you be doing this weekend, and what have you done so far?
Well, actually, I had come with a pilgrimage group like so many others did for the August 3rd date. And unfortunately, we weren't able to bring a large group over. So I'm here with some family, which has been wonderful. And I've been able to show them a lot of these special places here in Rome, some of them for the first time. So we've been doing, some of those typical things. And we're looking forward to the prayer vigils tomorrow, and probably a real early morning on Sunday, trying to get one of those coveted seats out there on the piazza. So we've been having a great time.
I'm sure. Frassati USA's mission, of course, is to promote his canonization. So where do you guys go from here?
It's funny you say that, because a lot of people think like this is the end, it's all finished. What are you going to do now? But actually, I think it's really the end of the beginning, as they say, right? Because and with the combination of these two saints being canonized, some people feel like people that didn't know Carlo got to know him through Pier Giorgio and vice versa. People who didn't know Pier Giorgio maybe got to know him through Carlo. And I think canonization, because you become a saint, it's so much more understandable to people than the blesseds. And so I think once hearing about the saint, all of the, such a buzz around this canonization, it's really just an exceptionally beautiful opportunity for the church right now. And so I think Pier Giorgio has a lot of work left to do, and that's what we're prepared to do, to continue to spread the message now of Saint Frassati.
All right, Christine Wohart, God bless you and enjoy this amazing event.
Thank you. Verso alto.
All right, a Catholic musician has just released a new song about these soon-to-be saints, inspired by their lives of holiness in preparation for their canonization this weekend.
And I am reaching for the highest hope that I've ever known.
Highest Home is written by musician Marie Miller. She's a folk singer who wrote the song in anticipation for the upcoming canonization. She says the two saints show us that you are never too young to become a saint. Marie Miller, the writer of that song, joins us now in studio. Thank you for being with us. Marie, first tell us what actually inspired you to write that song.
Yes, well, I'm a huge fan of Carlo Acutis and now learning about Pier Giorgio Frassati. And I thought, I want to have a song dedicated to this amazing day, their canonization. They were young people that thought, you're never too young to become a saint. And I just thought that was so beautiful.
Yeah, it really is something, isn't it? I wanted to learn more about your song, Highest Home. I'm curious, how did you come up with it and what does it mean?
Yes, so both of these men saw this world as not our home. They saw this world as the pilgrimage. I think of Pier Giorgio Frassati climbing to the heights, or to the mountains. He loved the mountains. And kind of our path to holiness it's a hard climb, but it's a beautiful view. And so I was thinking about how for them, they were climbing that mountain of holiness to their highest home, and that we are all called to that. Carlo Acutis says that the infinite is our homeland, that heaven has been waiting for us forever. And so that was definitely an inspiration for the Highest Home title.
Fascinating. I want to talk about this piece you wrote for the National Catholic Register. You mentioned our culture's obsession with superheroes, but you say the real heroic virtues can be found in Blessed Carlo Acutis and Blessed Pier Giorgio Frassati. I'd like to hear more about that.
Yeah, so, I mean, it is so beautiful to me that these men lived so heroically so young. And so I think about, there's a picture of Carlo Acutis as Spider-Man for Halloween. It's a little less known, but definitely look it up. It's amazing. And so they saw sainthood as kind of like being a superhero, living a heroic life. And I think it's going to be amazing. It just inspires so many young people to want to do the same.
Yeah, it really is special, isn't it? Absolutely. Well, you're an inspiration too. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate your perspective.
Yes, thank you so much.
Be sure to stick with EWTN all weekend for the special coverage of the canonization. And tomorrow we'll have an hour-long preview of the canonizations, then live coverage on Sunday from St. Peter's as Blesseds Acutis and Frassati officially become saints. And we have a lot more still to come on EWTN News Nightly. New numbers. Data from the U.S. jobs report is in, why the figures are drawing controversy. And what's in a name? The president decides to rebrand a government department. Which one and why? The American job market, a pillar of U.S. economic strength since the pandemic, is showing troubling signs. Uncertain about where things are headed, companies are reluctant to hire, leaving many job seekers unable to find work. The Labor Department reports that U.S. employers, companies, government agencies, and nonprofits added just 22,000 jobs in August, down from 79,000 in July and well below the 80,000 that economists had expected. The unemployment rate has ticked up to 4.3% last month. That is the highest number since 2021. However, the White House remains optimistic.
All the indicators that we're seeing are that inflation is low and economic growth is solid. Income growth solid as well. So that the only part of the data that's disappointing is that the jobs numbers have been a little bit lower over the last 3 or 4 months.
In South Korea, authorities are expressing concern and regret to the U.S. Embassy over an immigration raid on a Hyundai facility in Georgia. U.S. immigration officials say 475 people were arrested, many of them South Korean nationals. In a statement from the Department of Homeland Security, the targeted facility was part of an ongoing criminal investigation into allegations of unlawful employment practices and other serious federal crimes. The plant is considered one of Georgia's largest and most high-profile manufacturing sites, employing about 1,400 people. President Donald Trump signs an executive order to rebrand the Department of Defense as the Department of War. The aim of the Pentagon name change project, a tougher and more lethal image for the U.S. military. White House correspondent Owen Jensen reports. Owen.
Well, good evening, Tara. Today, President Trump said this name change is something both he and his staff have thought long and hard about, discussing it for months. And in the Oval Office, he addressed reporters.
We've been talking about this Department of War. So we won the First World War, we won the Second World War, we won everything before that and in between, and then we decided to go woke and we changed the name to Department of Defense. So we're going Department of War.
The world-famous Pentagon, soon no longer the Department of Defense, but the Department of War. The Department of War was created in 1789 and renamed in 1947. Part of President Donald Trump's reasoning behind going back to the original name?
I think it's a much more appropriate name, especially in light of where the world is right now. We have the strongest military in the world. We have the greatest equipment in the world. We have the greatest manufacturers of equipment by far. There's nobody to even compete.
Only Congress has the power to rename federal departments. And while permanently changing the name would require legislation, President Trump's order would authorize the use of secondary titles, such as Department of War and Secretary of War, for official correspondence. On social media, the president's defense secretary, Pete Hegseth, posts 3 words: Department of War. The name change comes as multiple wars rage across the globe, and America's top adversaries present evolving geopolitical threats on multiple fronts, raising the specter of future conflicts and battles yet to be fought. President Trump also posted a picture online with the caption, "Looks like we've lost India and Russia to deepest, darkest China. May they have a long and prosperous future together." We asked the president's director of the National Economic Council what that says about America's relationship with those countries.
Well, we're certainly hoping that it improves.
Just today, Russian President Vladimir Putin said that any foreign troops deployed to Ukraine, particularly while its invasion is still ongoing, would be considered legitimate targets by Moscow's forces.
And on Capitol Hill, some of President Trump's Republican supporters are proposing and supporting legislation to make the name change official. It's called the Department of War Restoration Act. At the White House, Owen Jensen, EWTN News Nightly.
All right, Owen, thank you. Well, meanwhile, Republicans and Democrats are already looking ahead to next November's midterm elections in a major way. President Trump has floated the idea of having the Republicans Party hold a national convention just ahead of next November's midterm elections, and that will decide who controls Congress. And Democrats say they are considering a similar idea. Capitol Hill correspondent Eric Gonzalez joins us now with more. Eric.
Well, good evening, Tara. Yes, conventions are normally held every 4 years leading into a presidential election. The fact that both parties are considering holding their own conventions ahead of the 2026 midterms, well, it underscores the importance of next year's election. But this isn't a new idea. Democrats used to hold midterm conventions, but discontinued the practice in the 1980s. Meanwhile, House Speaker Mike Johnson, he says he's eager to have one.
I think that's a done deal now. So look, I'm really excited about it. I can't wait. We have so much to celebrate, and it will be hilarious if the Democrats try to do the same, because if they're going to put on display what they did at their little workshop a couple weeks ago, bring it.
In the other chamber, Leader John Thune agrees and tells me,
you don't have the president on the ballot, and so you want to do everything you can to motivate your voters to get out, and it really does come down to voter turnout, to what we call the ground game, in ensuring that your party's team turns out. And so I think that's what it's designed to achieve.
Not to be outdone, the Democratic National Committee hasn't made anything official, but the DNC put out a statement, quote, To showcase our tremendous candidates running up and down the ballot and harness the amazing grassroots energy we're already seeing, several options are on the table for next year, including hosting a large-scale gathering before the midterms. A pre-midterm convention could also give Democrats a fundraising boost. The DNC reported only $15 million in cash on hand at the end of June, while the RNC totaled $80 million. Still, Democrats scoffed at the idea of a Republican convention.
It's an interesting idea. I suppose they could start by just having some town hall meetings in their districts, but they refuse to actually face the voters. So I don't know that the Republican Party needs another TV extravaganza. They need to go and meet with their constituents.
But Republicans tell me they have a lot to celebrate.
No tax on tips, no tax on overtime. 88% of seniors who are living on Social Security will pay zero taxes. Child tax credits, tax credits for school choice. We secured the border.
Majority Leader John Thune tells me that no date or location has been set for a Republican convention just yet. Lawmakers on both sides of the aisle tell me that it's important to get the messages out to voters. Bottom line, the race for 2026 is well underway. At the Capitol, Eric Rosales, EWTN News Nightly.
And so soon. Thank you, Eric. Well, now to the Middle East, where Israeli airstrikes hit a high-rise building in Gaza today as part of their campaign to occupy the Gaza Strip. Gaza's Shifa Hospital reports 27 people dead in Israeli strikes in Gaza over the past night. This as concerns rise for the remaining 48 hostages over video released by Hamas of 2 hostages asking for an end to the war. Protesters have been gathering outside Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu's home, demanding their release. Up next on EWTN News Nightly, Faithful Friend. To celebrate the feast day of Saint Mother Teresa, we speak to a close friend and advisor of hers. Plus, an exciting new addition to the News Nightly team. Learn about the new anchor taking the helm of News Nightly. Today is September 5th, the feast day of Saint Teresa of Calcutta, affectionately known as Mother Teresa. She is the patron saint of World Youth Day, the Missionaries of Charity, and co-patron of the Archdiocese of Calcutta. Born in 1910 in Albania, Saint Teresa of Calcutta left her homeland at the age of 18, moved by a desire to become a missionary. She went to Ireland to join the Sisters of Loreto and was later sent to India to serve as a teacher. Nearly 20 years later, during a train ride, she felt a calling from Jesus to care for the poor. Out of this call came the famed community of the Missionaries of Charity. This is the work that later made her one of the most beloved saints of the past century. She died in 1997 and was canonized by Pope Francis in 2016. Saint Teresa of Calcutta, pray for us. And earlier I spoke to Jim Toohey. He was legal counsel and close advisor to Mother Teresa of Calcutta for 12 years. He also did the first reading at her massive canonization in the Vatican. He shared a piece of advice from Mother Teresa that had a profound impact on his life.
I still hear what she said to me once when she said that a life that's not lived for others is not worth living. And she always spoke about being all for Jesus through Mary. I think her Marian devotion, her love of Christ, and her love of people, you know, this just is the things that I remember the most about her. She was very grounded in reality. She wasn't some person that was in the lofty heights speaking platitudes. She was very real. She kept it real with the poor. She saw Jesus in what she called the distressing disguise of the poorest of the poor. And she did simple, humble works. And I think we need to remember that now, because so often our poor are marginalized now and forgotten, almost invisible in a tech world. And so I think Mother's here to remind us that they need us.
We also want to tell you about an exciting change here on EWTN News Nightly. Starting next Monday, our new anchor, Veronica Dudo, begins. She recently sat down with Montse Alvarado.
What's the most important thing that you think the EWTN News Nightly team, daily, nightly news, 30 minutes, that news digest, can do to serve our audience and those who are hungry for truth?
So the team is made up of amazing journalists who are working very hard, and they are extremely dedicated. But it is the opportunity to help people to learn what's happening in the world, but to make those stories come alive through the church teaching, and to also help people in their own spiritual lives. So I think it's such an amazing opportunity where people are able to learn what's happening, but it's not just the headlines, it does go beyond that.
And Veronica had much more to say as well. To see her complete interview, stay tuned for EWTN News In Depth starting at 8 p.m. tonight. And we thank you for watching tonight. Remember, you can follow us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at EWTN News Nightly. I'm Tara Mergener. Good night and God bless.